I'm Mr.G. This is part of the series of building a custom-made engine dyno for a very small engine, but more importantly, we're going to show some machining. This is how you find an edge. Let's go to a better view.
So basically, run this thing up until that edge finder breaks concentricity. Okay. That's how you find the edge, right there.
Right there, I saw that.
And you zero out your DRO y-axis, because that's in this direction.
Okay. So it's basically like a spinning, what would you call this? It's basically, I don't know how to describe it, but we can see it right here. Can I touch it?
Yeah.
Okay, so just this thing moves.
Yeah, let me bring it up so you can manipulate it.
So imagine this, oh, you can totally see it. See, this moves like this, but when it's spinning, it's centered, and then when you touch something, it throws it out of whack. Is that what happens?
Right.
And that's how you know you're at zero.
That's not zero.
Well, that's minus the radius of that.
Right. So.
Or it's an edge.
This is 200 thousandths diameter.
Okay.
So once I break concentricity there, that tells me that the center axis of my quill here is 100 thousandths, because that's the radius, away from this surface.
Got it.
So then all I got to do, on this DRO, I can do it by just tapping a couple of numbers and getting it zeroed. But I just did it by moving it manually just to demonstrate to you. I moved my y-axis in another 100,000, so now it's physically, the edge of this part is physically in line with the center axis of my quill.
Awesome. And
see,
the quill is like the top part, like that looks like the drill press part. Right. That's the spinning part. It has a motor on top. See, this is the motor through a transmission down here, and this is it right here. Right. Now, how did you move 1,000? So you moved this, right?
Yeah, I moved this in till I got 100 thousandths on my DRO, and now I can just re-zero it. And now, if I move this X to 0, we will be exactly on the corner of that part.
That is cool. I gotta do the little angel noise. It's actually from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like that. But I don't know, it turned into angel noises. Kind of moved it around a little. And he's got something fancy here. Automatic release.
So, power drawbar.
And then can we see the collet?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this is the collet. It's got a little, like 3 splits, and then put that in there. And this goes like this, and it's got like a taper fit. So when you, first we should tell you that the other side has a threaded, inside. And then when you pull this up, because you use the, this is spinning the threads of what looks like a dowel, but it's called a drawbar.
Right.
That pulls it up, which then squeezes it, and then that is what keeps it tight in there.
Yeah, so the drawbar is pulling on the back end of this collet.
Yeah.
And then the nose of the quill here has the same taper as this. Right in this area.
Yeah, and I don't have a light on it, but anyway.
And then since that's fixed and you're pulling on this, what it does is it squeezes down on the OD here, grips the tool pretty secure. But R8 collet, it's not the most secure system. It's kind of old school. But for your home hobbyist or light duty industrial use, works just fine.
Okay. And can I just show one time, like, put it in there,
sure,
and watch it get sucked up into the thing.
Sure.
So here you go.
So the way you install it,
it's also keyed, by the way. Yeah.
It's got the key there, so you got to find the the little boss that key index is on, which is right there.
Right.
Then you can draw it in a little bit, and then with it sticking out just like that, you put your tool in and then draw it in and tighten it.
Oh, that we saw that on camera. That happened.
And then
That happened. Cool. Now what you're hearing up here sounds like the mechanic sound. So is this is air operated?
yeah, this is pneumatic impact mechanism.
It's just like having an impact gun.
right. This is kind of like it's exactly like having an impact gun.
Yeah.
That is an impact gun.
Right.
Except it's packaged to fit on the machine.
And also there's a torque specification. It won't overdo it. It could.
Technically speaking, yeah. Like
Okay.
the really nice ones do. This is a Chinese model.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't think it's that
Okay. Where do you have an impact gun so I could just show people in case they don't know?
No, I don't have an.
Okay.
I got an electric one.
All right. Well, okay. We'll just skip it. But anyway, imagine there was like a screw gun up here, but an impact gun,
Right.
and that's the operation. And then this is your air, right?
Right. That's the air supply.
And what's this?
That is the main air supply coming down from the ceiling drop down.
Okay. And then this is.
This line right here.
Oh, this is.
your blowgun.
Oh, well, this is serious. This is for. Okay, you could clean up or whatever,
Right.
but you could also. You could do your hair. No, this is so you could just kind of clean up a little bit. You know, your mom says, "Go clean up your room," and you're like, "Okay, no problem." All right, that's basically it. Thank you, Manny.
Welcome.
Okay, and this was the edge finder.
Edge finder.
All right, and with a DRO.
Right.
And also you're using these to figure out
so
where you want to.
You could use this edge finder if you're using dials too. So the way that you would use that is the same manner. You find the edge. You gotta add or subtract, whichever way you want to look at it. The 100,000s, because that's 200,000 diameter.
Right,
so you
the
gotta
tip.
subtract the radius.
Mm-hmm.
So then you would come over here, and you know if you're a newbie, you could set it to 0. And then move in the correct direction, whether it's clockwise or counterclockwise, the 100,000ths, and then reset your 0. Or if you know if you're a little bit more familiar with that, you know which direction to go, you can just go right ahead and set it to the 100. Where is it? 100,000, or you can go to the. This is a $200,000
Right.
dial. So yeah, you could either go to the 0 or you could go
Or the 100.
The 100.
And then you could back up or go forward depending on which way.
Right, and that really is dependent on the lash.
Right, I was going to ask you.
Yeah. So
what about lash?
Yeah, lash is a pain in the butt to deal with.
Yeah.
For example,
yeah.
if I've got if I'm drawing the table in this direction if this is coming towards us and the edge finder hits that edge, this is the direction that the lash is taken up on.
Okay.
So I have to set my dial to that 100 in that configuration.
Mm-hmm.
If I move the table to this position and then before I set my dial, move if I move the crank just a little bit, now my numbers are off, even though my table didn't move.
Right.
So you have this much play in it, and that's called the lash.
Yeah, so if people at home understand that when I move this right now, the table's not moving yet. You could feel it touch right there. It's free spinning until it's not a lot though.
It's not much. On an older machine, obviously it's gonna be more.
But you just gotta feel it. That's
Yeah.
all. Okay. Yeah, that's where the DRO comes in really handy.
So when you're setting up or when you're working with it and you've already established your 0 point, it's extremely important that you knew that you were pulling the table in your direction when you set that 0 point.
Oh, I see.
So when every single time you're gonna set up a new tool to or move to a position to drill a hole or whatever the case is, always make sure that you overshoot in that direction and then bring it back to that number in this direction.
I see.
That compensates.
Because if you're going in the same direction, there's no lash.
Right.
It's when you go back and forth that
Right.
you get the lash.
So if I have to move that way because I'm going from a bolt maybe a hold position that's here, and then the next one that's down there. So if I'm moving the part in this direction, I got to make sure that that I go over there and then bring it back. So I overshoot that position, then bring it back.
Got it.
Yeah.
Because so you're moving, you stop, set it, and then you could keep on moving.
Right.
And there's no lash.
No lash.
Nice. All right, I think we covered it.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. All right, hope this helped. And we're here at Manny's workshop. We got to come up with a name for this place.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, well, I'm Mr. G. This is Manny. We'll see you later. Yep.